hello everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome along to your afternoon rabble here on the Rangers Rabble Podcast. I hope everybody is well. Not as many comments starting up as per usual, so hopefully those watching do get their comments. And it is election day in America. Yes. Do you know the funny thing is? I'm not an overly political person, but I take more notice of American politics than what I do of British politics. Now, I'm not going to turn this into a political show, folks, because I know how that goes. But a quick question before we come to question of the day is: will you be watching the election tonight? That's a wee quick yes or no for everybody tuning in. Will you be watching the election tonight? Um, Get your likes in, or Martin will pay you a visit. Yes, if you live in the South Lanarkshire area, then I'll pay you. I'll pay you a visit if you don't hit that like button and subscribe. Of course, I will. Um, Tim's saying nope, not interested. Rangers 55, nope. Neil's going for 3-0 to Trump. I like that. I like that answer. I like Alex going yes. Sniper's going yes. Ricky's just nope. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's funny you say God no. Before me and the missus were doing a bit of tidying up, a bit of spring cleaning this morning, and we were putting the tunes on in the background, and Nirvana came on with "A Man Who Sold the World," and it was only a few years ago that I found out not only that Bowie wrote it, but it was about Jesus. I don't know why I'm talking about that. I don't know why that came up. Um, But yeah, I mean, how funny would it be if Trump became president and then bought Rangers? That would be rather funny, wouldn't it? But yeah, so we'll use be watching the election. I'll be honest with you, right? American politics is just a bit more fun to watch. Um, there's just so much more skullduggery, if you like, right, that you can get your teeth right into. Whereas British politics is a bit boring and nah, and a bit British, if you like. Whereas American politics is a bit more jazz and stuff like that. So yeah, will you be watching the election tonight? How has your day been so far? What's your plans for the rest of the day? Let me know. I'm heading to Cumbernauld tonight to watch the Colts. My wee brother's playing again, so he's costed me a fortune because it's a tenner to get into all these low and league games. Which, look, in the grand scale of things, isn't much, but you know, tenner's a tenner in it. But yeah, anyways, let's get to the most important part of it. You talking about the song? It's called "The Man Who Sold the World," Neil. Um, which I suppose it should be obvious that he's talking about Jesus, shouldn't it? But yeah, there we go. Okay, folks, let's get into today's
Question of the day.
And seeing as we are on um, American politics, um, a bit more of a difficult business expense, I wish. A bit more of a difficult question, I suppose, but it was sent to me by our very own Ian Thompson. So the question of the day is: who is your favourite American president and why? We don't need to get political, although albeit it's a political question, so that's um that's a bit hypocritical. But who's your favourite American president? Why? It could be because they were an absolute numpty. It could be because they were funny. It could be because they were good at their job. But who is your favourite American president and why? Yeah, and why? I was waiting on Ronald Reagan coming in. Again, I wasn't alive while Reagan was president. Matt Gunner, that's a ridiculous comment if I pulled up, that would be the end of the rabble if I pulled that up. Um, but yeah, Trump, Tim's going Trump, Donald's going Trump. You haven't put in why though. It's always good to have context So it was in Iron Blue. Reagan was both funny and quite good. Um, you know what? You know what? Abe Lincoln, the Vampire Slayer. There's a president for you. There's an absolute president for you. Do you know what? I'll even add to it. Right? I'll add to it. Right? Who's your favorite American president and why? Even people that have played presidents on TV. So presidents that have been played on TV, you can add them into the mix, get that in there. So who's your favorite American president, either real president or TV president, and why? I think that's a fairly decent question. And that, of course, was today's.
Question of the day.
See if that clip, Brian, doesn't get us nominated for some kind of award. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Yeah, it's certainly gets your attention, doesn't it? The question of the day question. It certainly does.
Well, it does for like 3 seconds, and then like the 3 seconds at either end of it is.
Aye.
See if
Like
you're
it's like
listening.
an awkward silence, isn't it?
If you're listening to that on the audio downloads, that must be just strange. It must just be. Here comes the silence. I mean, I don't know if that's a real person. Harrison Ford for the line, "Get off the plane." Who's your favourite American president, Brian, and why?
Well, I've got the real one and I've got the fictional one for you. I've got the real one, which is Ronald Reagan, because
Right.
he wasn't a politician. He just went in, because I always remember the line in Back to the Future. Who's the current president? He says, Ronald Reagan. He says, what? Ronald Reagan, the actor? And he starts laughing, Doc Brown. So Ronald Reagan I thought was quite good. And then my fictional one is Morgan Freeman in what was the disaster film? The one with the meteor. The meteor was coming and they tried to blow it up, and oh goodness. Oh, jeepers. Oh, I can't remember even the film now. It's totally went out of my head, but he was I always think Morgan Freeman speaks a lot of sense, and his voice is tremendous.
Well, so he's played a president.
Yep.
He's also played God.
He has, yes. Yes, he has. He's had a deep impact. That's it, Snipe. There we go. Kami, yeah. Deep impact. He was the president in that. But yeah, he was God. And was it Evan Almighty?
Was it Evan Almighty or was it Bruce Almighty?
It was one of them, wasn't it?
Or was it both?
Was it both? I don't know.
Do you know what? That's right there. AJ's hit the nail on the head. My favourite president of all time is Martin Sheen in The West Wing. The West Wing, I absolutely loved The West Wing. I absolutely adored that. I think you'll find, Sniper, that Morgan Freeman is very much real. So don't give me that. Don't give me that. And it was Bruce Almighty. Oh, that's Frank Underwood. Do you know, obviously, a lot of people might not mention Kevin Spacey because of all the stuff that's went on, even though he's never been found guilty of anything. And I'm a firm believer, and you're innocent until proven guilty. But he's one of the all-time greatest actors, Kevin Spacey, and he was so good as Frank Underwood.
Yeah, he was really good. What was the other big blockbuster he was in again?
Well, he was in Seven, wasn't he? He was the killer in Seven.
Oh, honestly, I remember I watched Seven at the cinema, and that was an unbelievable film. Because you knew all the sort of traits that were coming, but you just didn't know what order and how people were going to be found. And some of them, like the guy in the bed that he was keeping alive barely, and oh, jeez, but it was.
Do you know what was? But what proves to me how good Kevin Spacey is as an actual actor, right? Take away all the stuff in the background, just purely talking about acting. He made them leave his name out of the titles of the film. Yeah. He didn't do any press leading up to it because the killer was meant to be a surprise, obviously, in the movie. And he didn't want anybody knowing he was the killer until it got to that part of the film.
Yeah.
He didn't take any limelight. He didn't do anything until it got to that part of the film.
Yeah. But no, it was a cracking film, Seven. Absolutely brilliant film. And as I say, it was just, you just didn't know what order all these traits were coming in. And it was, I mean, the end was just unbelievable, wasn't it?
Yeah, the head in the box, and wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
cheapers.
I mean, we probably just wasted that film for a few people who haven't watched it yet.
I know.
But yeah, I'll miss the comment, and I need to find it. I need to find it from Tim Sharp. Trump uses the same fake tan as E&T. Well, I've met Ian right up close, and he wasn't wearing fake tan that day. So I'm going to have to give him it there. But yeah, you wouldn't know that Tim and Ian were best pals, would you?
No.
But yeah, but so again, I don't want to get political, Brian, because it leads to fights and arguments and people getting etc. etc. Just a quick answer. American election tonight, from what you've seen, because I know that you're interested in your American politics as well. Who do you think's the favourite?
Everything I'm seeing and everything I'm reading, it looks as though Trump's going to win. Just by the bookies, just the sort of the general chat that's you see online. I think Kamala Harris is very much. I think as long as she's got an earpiece in her ear, she's okay. As soon as you take that away, she's really a bit lost. I think the thing with Trump is he identifies with so many like normal people in the world. He's not a career politician. He's not he's just all right. He's a guy that's made a lot of money, obviously, but he's not certainly a person that's there to like line his own pocket. I mean, he's the only president, I believe, if I remember my Google search as well, that every other president that went into the White House came out richer. He went in the White House and came out poorer.
Mm.
So, I mean, he's certainly not there to make money, whereas a lot of other people seemingly go into American politics and with a few million quid, and then they come out absolute multi-millionaires, even near billionaires at next. So, from what I've seen and what I've been reading, it looks as though Trump's going to win, but you can never predict an election.
No, you can't. You absolutely can't. Yeah, it's a strange one for Kamala because she doesn't. I've watched a couple of the debates and I've listened to her speak, and she doesn't incite confidence in you.
No.
And she's not done that many debates. And obviously, Trump went on Joe Rogan for 3 hours. Kamala refused to mix up with the times or something like that. So yeah, I don't think she's tried the old Biden tactic of just staying quiet and hoping for the best. And I think that might be her downfall.
I think the other problem with American politics is it's either a douche or a turd sandwich you're voting for. You've only got 2 choices. You're either left or right, or
Same in Britain.
Yeah, it kind of is, yeah. But at least you have got other parties to vote for in Britain, whereas America, it's either Democrat or Republican. You've only got a 50-50. So, and even more so than over here, if you identify as a Democrat or a Republican, you are seen a certain way. So, and that's quite very, what would you say, quite hostile at times.
Oh, Brian. Question of the day. Would Trump beat Bryan at golf?
Not from what I've seen. No, he's golf. He maybe talks a good game, but I've seen a few of his shots, and yeah, he's no chance.
So you're right now on the Rangers Rabble podcast laying a marker down a possible President Trump. Come on, I'll take you on at golf.
Absolutely. Apparently
One-on-one.
he's good. No, he's not, Cammy. Believe me, he's not. I've seen it, so no. I'll happily take on Donald Trump. No problem.
So if he wins and becomes president, right, we'll try and get in contact with him, right? And you and him, 1-on-1, and whoever wins is president.
Okay, I'll do that.
Happy days.
I'll do that.
Okay. Let's move on to the who am I and get away from this politics chat, shall we? But yeah, look, the American election's on. It's in the news, so of course we're going to talk about it. Just before we do that, I have to say a massive thank you to the sponsors of today's afternoon Rabble, MRG Electrical. They cover Aberdeen City and Aberdeenshire, and they are an MCS certified installer for solar and NIC approved electrical contractor. That was easy for me to say. So a massive thank you to MRG Electrical for sponsoring the Rangers Rabble podcast. Head over to mrgelectricalservices.co.uk. Thank you very much. Right, so, and tell them the Rabble sent you. There you go. Right, today's Who Am I? Now, I'm going to try and do this slightly differently, because what I'm realising is if I give too much information, there's just too many smart people in the comments. So I'm going to give you a little bit, and if nobody gets it, I'll give you a little bit more, right? So today's Who Am I? I started my career at Rangers coming through the youth academy. I was at Rangers from 1994 until 1997, and I only made 3 appearances, and I could play in midfield or up front. So I came through the youth academy at Rangers, and I was at Rangers from 1994 until 1997, but I only made 3 senior appearances. I could play in midfield or up front. Who am I? And by the way, a massive thank you to JD.
Finally.
What?
How long's that taken?
How long's what taken?
For JD to become a member.
I think he was a member before, but he's a member
Was
again.
he?
So thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. If you want to help support the podcast, you can. In order to survive, we need members. We need you to keep liking and subscribing. We need to grow all the time. We need to keep growing. So a massive thank you to JD for becoming a member on YouTube. You can also become a member by using the link in the description to either go to Patreon or YouTube. It's whatever you prefer. They both offer the exact same content. They're just delivered in different ways. So who am I again today? One more time before we come on and speak about Robin Pröpper. I started my career in the youth academy at Rangers. I was at Rangers from 1994 until 1997. However, I only made 3 appearances for the senior team, for the first team. I could play in midfield or up front. Who am I? There we go. Right, okay, Bryan. There's a reason that I wanted to talk about Robin Pröpper today. Obviously, very, very quickly. First of all, there's some proper answers in there. First of all, Bryan, what have you made to his Rangers career so far? What have you made at the start of his Rangers career?
I think me and you were both kind of seduced by him when he first played against Motherwell. He had a really good game.
I'm easily seduced.
Yeah, and he looked the real deal. He was a centre-half that came from the Dutch league and over 200 appearances, and I think Utrecht had one of their best finishes in their history. So it looked and, came across that he was going to be a sort of Rolls-Royce sort of centre-half, but that, I would say, opinion has certainly dwindled and sort of possibly went the other way now. He's looking very slow. He's looking very undecided. He's okay when he's not under pressure, but then when an attacker or anybody puts him under any pressure, he seems to panic and just flail the ball anywhere but where it should be. So he's certainly, from his very bright start that he had, it seems like he's not the answer, and I'm kind of disappointed, because when you start that good, you always think, well, they'll hopefully carry that on, but I'm afraid it doesn't look as though he's going to, he's just not going to be up to it, and it's a shame, because, as I say, he had a good start, but there was the sort of the answer on Sunday when Casemiro, he came on instead of him. Now, if a young kid like that comes on in front of you, you've got to start worrying about your future.
Do you know what, Bryan? It's not just the fact that he came on in front of him. He came on and looked better.
Yeah.
He came on and looked far more far more convincing, far stronger, far more confident. And that's the reason actually that I've brought this up today. It's the fact that when it got to that point in a semi-final, and you have a guy on the bench who we've paid a few £1 million for, coming from a team that finished third in the Eredivisie, who was the captain of that team, and you overlook him for somebody who we've got in on loan. Does that tell you where the manager's thinking when it comes to Pröpper?
It could be, and it could be the point that the manager is now at, where he's like, I've tried this guy, they have let me down, so I've got to look elsewhere. And Casemiro, when he played at left back, I believe against Malmo, looked accomplished. You wouldn't ever have thought he wasn't a left back because he played that well. He's came in at right back. He's done well. He's just done well every time he's come on. So maybe this is this Clement now actually waking up and realizing that there's other options than the ones that he's been persisting with. Because for me, if he carries on persisting with the likes of Tab, the likes of Dessers, Pröpper, these guys are going to get in the sack. It's almost as though he's almost asking to get the sack, playing them all the time. Whereas now, it was infinitely obvious on Sunday when Danilo and the subs came on. They were better than what was on the pitch. But Sterling, when they came on, we infinitely looked better. We were moving the ball quicker. The link play was better. We looked more threatening. There was a bit of belief when they came on. And I'm just hoping that he is now realizing that there is other options than the ones he's persisted with.
And I know it's maybe not fair because it probably everybody should get the same length of time to settle in, or should they? I don't know. But he is what, at 28, 20, 30 maybe? 30. He doesn't have time to settle in, Bryan. He has a few weeks to get up to speed. He should be coming in with the experience. It shouldn't be taking him half a season to get settled into this Rangers team, should it?
No, it shouldn't. He's an experienced guy. I always laugh, not funny, haha. But why is it always our players that we sign that we always have to give time to settle in and get used to Scottish football and all that? There's other teams in the Scottish League who are signing players that have never played in Scotland. They come straight in and they're playing no problems. Like look at Aberdeen, for example. Although they get beaten at the weekend, but their league stuff, they've signed guys from all over. They've just slotted in no problem. They've never, not played anywhere, of any note, but they're coming in and yeah, exactly. They need to build IKEA furniture. That's another sore point with me. But, why do we always have to persist in giving guys time to come in? You don't get time. You've got to come in and make a difference straight away. So yeah, he should have known. He's had plenty of countrymen that have came to Rangers and experienced Rangers, and he could have easily picked up the phone to a few of them and asked them, what's it all about. But he just doesn't look as though he's up to it.
A Rabble Bryan tops Trump golf polo incoming. Donald's on it. He's on it all the time. Look, moving away from jokes and trying to have a bit of a laugh, I want to bring up this comment from Stuart Pollock. I just wanted to say a big thank you to you and the Rabble for keeping me going this year after losing my partner in February. Mental health is so important, and you guys have saw me through a tough time. I'm glad that we're able to do that, Stuart. That's the least that we try and do. It really is. If we can help one person, just from sitting here talking nonsense, we're not full of ourselves. We just try and come on and have a bit of a laugh and give our opinions. And I honestly hope that you're doing better. Obviously, condolences to you for losing your partner. And I hope your mental health's getting better. And I hope that we can continue to help. So thank you very much for the comment. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you very much, Stuart.
It's when you see things like that, it certainly brings home, life's tough for a lot of people,
Yeah, it is.
And you've got to, it's as hard as it is, as I've found it as well. But what I've said, speaking out is the best thing. You know, although it might sound difficult at the time, but you know, I'm just glad that he's feeling a bit better, and I'm glad that we're actually, you know, keeping him going. You know, that's a huge thing. So yeah, all the love, Stuart. Hope you're doing well.
That's, you know, I try. Well, I don't take myself serious, and I try and come on, especially in the afternoon shows. And for the first 15, 20 minutes, it won't be for some people. I understand that. I get it. Some people just want you to speak Rangers from the second that you start until the second that you finish. Excuse me. And I appreciate that and I understand that. But the afternoon shows are, you know, have a bit of a laugh, have a bit of a giggle. Don't take ourselves too serious. Have a wee, you know, 5, 10 minutes serious conversation or whatever about what's going on at the football club. But, you know, we done 76 podcasts in October. So I don't know if there's 76 podcasts worth of content on Rangers, to be honest. But so we do our best to try and switch it up a wee bit, have a bit of a laugh and a joke, and keep the community going. That's what the afternoon Rabble's all about. That's the joke with the question of the day and the who am I's. People like to get involved, and we just try not to take ourselves too serious all the time. I have my rants. We all have our rants, especially on reactions after we get beat. I'm just going to say something else there.
Or watch-alongs.
Or watch-alongs. Yes, I've lost a good few pens on the watch-alongs. But yeah, we just try and have a laugh and a joke on the afternoon Rabble, and we hope like it helps people like Stuart and anybody else out there who's struggling, who can tune in for half an hour at 12:30 Monday to Friday, and it just helps them for that half an hour, and that's enough for me. That's absolutely enough for me. Yeah. Okay, so we'll go back to the who am I, and I'll read out all the teams that he played for, and then you've got about 30 seconds to get your answers in. So, like I say, he came through the youth system at Rangers in 1994. He stayed at Rangers until 1997, only making 3 appearances for the first team. He then moved to Hull City, where he played 53 times, then to Scarborough, where he played 8, Airdrieonians, where he played 4, Dumbarton, where he played 1. The most successful part of his career was in 2001 to 2007, where he played for St Mirren, making 110 appearances. He then moved, I should say, within that, in 2006, he went to Dundee on loan, where he played 6 times. He also moved to Irvine Meadow Pollock and Bells Hill Athletic, but there is no appearances down for him there. So you've got 30 seconds. Who am I? What I will say is, Bryan, not to give it away, we've got some and I say this all the time, but they keep surprising me. Very, very, very intelligent people in the chat.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, there's certainly a good plethora of knowledgeable people in this chat, and Lyndon, it's certainly not Richard Ramirez, believe me.
who was he, the Night Stalker? Is that who Richard Ramirez was?
He was the guy that went into people's houses and just
the Night Stalker.
Yeah.
No, Lyndon, I clearly wasn't talking about you. I clearly wasn't talking about you. You know I wasn't talking about you.
He was the big guy that the locals basically caught. He was running away and the locals just pinned him down and the cops got him.
That's right, I remember. And he was absolute psychopath.
He looked like a complete nutter, yeah. He was.
You know what I mean, Bryan? What other Rangers podcast do you get? American politics, a wee bit of Rangers chat, and then serial killers.
I have no idea. I really don't. But I'll tell you what. There is a leaning towards serial killers. We're going to have to do one.
We're going to have to do one, aren't we? We're going to have to do one. I was born in Austria. Oh no, I can't do him. Can't do him. Definitely can't do it. Right, okay, Bryan, who was today's Who Am I?
Today's Who Am I selected it purely because it was it's in close proximity from where Martin is, so I picked Bryan McGinty.
James Cameron was straight in there, by the way.
I know.
And I know for a fact he didn't Google that because he answered far too quickly. Far too quickly. I've got my reservations about Aldo. I think Aldo might have Googled that, right? But he did get it in with the little clues, so I might let him away with that. Kev Armstrong definitely didn't Google. Curry definitely Googled because it's Curry. He definitely Googled. And Alan Neil, he got Bryan McGinty as well. But that was a hard one. that was a hard one today. So
Yeah.
I'm happy with that. And I can also say a massive thank you to RFC72, who has become a YouTube member as well. So thank you for the support, my friend. Please like, share, and subscribe as well, everybody. I'm trying my best not to go on about likes because it looks a bit pretentious, but it's my job. So please like, share, and subscribe and all that good stuff, folks. Well, you're for Bell's Hill. He was Fiasco Bride. So, come on, Curry. Play the game. But yeah,
See,
okay.
You'll get the likes of me. It'll just say Bell's Hill, East Bride, same thing.
It's not the same thing.
No, I know.
Not the same thing. There's by the way, actually, I mentioned Austria. I could be talking about more than one person.
I know.
So, I mean, Cammy's fee came even he didn't know. And Cammy's usually quite good at the old Google, But yeah, massive thank you to our sponsors, MRG Electrical. Check out mrgelectricalservices.co.uk and then tell them the Rabble sent you there as well. Bryan, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Mark.
Thank you to everybody in the comments, to our new members, everybody who tunes in every weekday, Monday to Friday, 12:30 for a wee half an hour, just rabble. I should just call it the morning rabble, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
That would have been a much better way to go. We are back today. It's supposed to be 3:00 for members. It might have to be pushed back to 4, but I will let all the members know for the Q&A, a Discord special. I've got a few things to say about the Discord. And then we are back for full Rangers chat for members tonight at 7:30.
I think if you're being totally pedantic though, you have to call it the afternoon rabble because you start at 12:30.
Yes, the afternoon. Yes, okay. Fair enough. I've actually just stopped naming it and just putting a title on. But anyway, folks, we shall leave you to get on with the rest of your day. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll speak to you all very, very soon.